We have a heap of mini news from WizKids after an exclusive interview between Patrick O'Hagan, the executive producer of RPGs at WizKids, and our friends at minisgallery.com. We'll spill all the beans during today's Gallant Goblin Gazette. This video is brought to you by the Deck of Mini and their animated spells, tarot, and more Kickstarter launching May 12th, 2020. Suffice it to say that WizKids has a lot of irons in the fire right now. A couple of sets had to be pushed back due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but it seems like they're going full steam ahead for the rest of the year. Let's start by talking short term. What's coming up in the next few months? Arkhan the Cruel and the Dark Order had to be delayed a bit. A few Arkhan sets actually made it to market, so some of you may have grabbed one. The official release date is now June 3rd. Also coming out the first week of June is the next wave of D&D premium figures, which will include a dragonborn female paladin, an Aasimar male paladin, an elf male cleric, a human female druid, a dwarf male fighter, and an elf ranger. These minis offer the most detailed paint jobs WizKids does. 4th level paint jobs, as they say at WizKids. The premium figures are painted versions of minis previously available through their Unpainted Nolzur's line. You can see our review of Wave 1 of those figures by clicking on the eye. Another 2 sets of 10 premium figures each for D&D are planned for release later in 2020, not to mention a set of 6 premium Pathfinder minis in August. Each figure is sold individually for an MSRP of about $8. 2 sets of pre-painted Starfinder Battle minis are planned for June or July. A monster set called Galactic Villains includes an Aeon Guard, Space Pirate, Security Robot, Necrovite, Space Goblin, and Contemplative. And a Galactic Heroes pack includes an android, Xenoseeker, Kasatha Thaumaturge, Lashunta Commando, Shirin Soldier, Yosoki Technomancer, and a Vesk Champion. Each set will have an MSRP of about $35. Also in June, we have the next full booster set in the Pathfinder Battles line, City of Lost Omens. This will support the official lore book of the same name about Pathfinder's most famous city, Absalom. We'll certainly have more information about this set soon. The set includes 2 premium figures, a red and black dragon. Not mentioned in the interview, but presumably still planned for a June release, is the Pathfinder Battles Thieves Guild Premium Set. As far as I can tell, there's no pictures of the set out there yet. So stay tuned to the channel and our website for more information when we learn more. The first D&D Gemstone Dragon, a Sapphire Dragon, is planned for a July or August release. The stats for this one released alongside the D&D Anniversary Dice Set, and are also available online. In fact, WizKids is planning a new line of Gargantuan dragon figures to be released regularly over the next year or two, one every 3 months or so. There haven't been new Gargantuan D&D dragon minis in a long time. It sounds like they're planning to release one for each chromatic and metallic dragon, and possibly other gemstone dragons once they're given 5e stats. The adult Sapphire Dragon is the first in July or August, and then there'll be another one in December and every 3 months after that. They'll also include Shadow Dragons, Draco Liches, and other draconic varieties over the course of the series. On top of this, they're planning to release even larger dragon minis as well. These will be for the ancient, largest dragons in D&D lore. The term colossal is often thrown around for those. We should get 1 or 2 of these a year. A few other tidbits. The next D&D booster set is Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which is planned for early August and will include huge minis like Storm King's Thunder, Monster Menagerie 3, and Dungeon of the Mad Mage had. I think there will be more D&D sets this year, but we won't hear about them until Wizards of the Coast announces their next books. He did mention that there were plans to release huge-size Ravnica creatures at some point, since the Ravnica booster set didn't include huge creatures. No word on Wildmount minis, though. Patrick said they would have to get the Critical Role license to make that happen. And if you were disappointed to get a Kraken Priest labeled Tridrone in the Monster Menagerie 3 set, he promised a proper Tridrone mini would be releasing in November, potentially in an unannounced D&D booster set, I'd guess. As for Pathfinder, there's another set planned for mid-December called Darklands Rising, if I heard it correctly. Now, the Darklands is Pathfinder's version of the Underdark from D&D, And I didn't see any other reference to the name Darklands Rising anywhere on the internet at the moment, so I'm not sure if this is going to tie into an upcoming Pathfinder adventure, a source book, or what. There is an adventure book coming out at the end of the year called Dead God's Hand that takes place beneath Absalom, but I have no idea if that's related to the mini-set. So if you've heard anything, let me know in the comments section down below. The next D&D Monster Pack is set for February 2021. And the very cool looking Yawning Portal Tavern set, which was scheduled for release this summer, was pushed back to April 2021 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. But probably the biggest news, or the biggest thing on the horizon for WizKids right now, is the imminent release of their Warlock tiles. These are looking like a great alternative, or maybe a supplement, for the Dwarven Forge dungeon tiles. The Warlock tiles should be more affordable and will have a lot of supporting products. The floor pieces are double-sided with stone on one side and wood flooring on the other. 7 packages are planned for the initial launch in the first week of July. Dungeon Tiles 1 includes your basic dungeon floors, walls, pillars, and doors. The Town and Village set includes the walls, floors, pillars, and doors for town buildings and homes. The Stairs and Ladders set includes several types of staircases and landings in both stone and wood to supplement the previous 2 sets, plus some ladders, of course. The Dungeon Dressing set will look rather like some of the 4D settings packs that we've reviewed here on the Gallant Goblin. We've got chairs, tables, beds, thrones, chests, benches, kegs, altars, traps, and more to liven up your battle maps. There's also a Doors and Archways set, a set of summoning circles with embedded LEDs. Looks really cool. And a set called Expansion Pack 1, which features more doors, windows, interior walls, and pillars. For now, the walls featured on the Warlock tiles will be half walls. So for example, you can see the door arches extending above the wall line here. In October, they'll be releasing a set of full walls if you want that option. If I understood correctly, WizKids is planning to integrate the 4D settings line into the Warlock tile system so that you can use them seamlessly together. We know of at least 2 future 4D settings packs coming sometime soon, though the release dates aren't on the official calendar yet. We have a Wizard's Tower and a Bridge set, both of which will probably be pretty pricey. It sounds like future sets beyond these will be aiming for a more affordable price point. It was a little hard to tell how completely the 4D settings line would merge with the Warlock tiles, or which one fell under which title. But Patrick also mentioned that there would be a town square set with market stalls, gallows, stocks, and other items you might find in your typical medieval market square. He also mentioned a new encampment site sets with tents and horses and things like that. October will bring an inn and tavern set, and December sees a huge set of siege engines, namely a trebuchet and a ballista, for around $45 and $49 respectively. The trebuchet set alone will be about 12 inches tall. No time to catch your breath at the end of the year, because they have a ton planned for January and the first quarter of the year, including a bunch of new dungeon dressing minis and a series of modular buildings in 3 sizes that will let you build out your own little town. They're aiming for 1 set of those every month for early 2021. He teased other upcoming packs like caverns, bridges, broken bridges, and sewers. Also something potentially called showdown settings, if I understood correctly, which will be Warlock tile encounter packs, but no details are really provided about that. Keep in mind, all these sets are going to be painted and ready to use right out of the box. I think the aim is to offer an affordable alternative to Dwarven Forge and to support it with frequent scattered terrain packs, all painted and at a relatively cheap price point. And we're not done yet. Let's get back to some upcoming minis. Patrick mentioned a series of Demon Lords and Archdevils coming sooner than you think, he said. And they're painted at the premium quality level, some of which he said were quite large. There were vague mentions of warbands too, so maybe you could get a variety of goblins or kobold minis all in one set perhaps. One change happening to upcoming WizKids minis is a move from black bases to clear ones. This will serve a number of purposes. He notes that the black bases didn't really serve any functional in-game purpose, and of course the clear bases will allow you to better see the terrain underneath the mini. It will also allow them to use a larger base size for some of the minis. So for example, they may put a huge creature on a gargantuan sized base to give the mini more stability on the table. They would then put a little thin circle around the base to show the true threatened area that the creature really provides. And then the text on the bottom of the bases would have to be changed too, of course. He noted that the text wouldn't necessarily be visible if you're just looking down at the mini on the table, but you have to pick it up to look at it closely to read it. You don't want the kind of ugly text spoiling your encounter and making the battle maps look ugly. So hopefully it'll be easy enough to read when you kind of need to see it, though. You'll start seeing this change in the Mythic Odysseys of Theros set, where the large and huge minis will be the only ones with clear bases. The mediums and talls, or the medium and smalls, will still have the black bases for now. And then the next D&D set will be the same format, but after that, all the minis will have those clear bases. And that brings us to reprints. They're planning reprints of all the past D&D Icons of the Realm sets, with the exception of Ravnica. So if you're waiting for those Elemental Evil minis, hold on just a little bit longer. Apparently, they've never reprinted a Pathfinder Battles set, but they have a few older Pathfinder sets going back into reprint this year. They won't be printing a ton, but this should give people access again to highly desired sets and minis. So it sounds like they'll eventually be moving these older sets, the older reprinted minis, to those clear bases as well, by the way. Now, in the past, they haven't publicly announced when reprints are happening, though they let their distributors know. It sounds like Patrick is hoping to provide more consumer transparency on this in the future, so you'll know whether to pick up that expensive mini on eBay or wait a little bit longer for that reprint. Also, they want to continue the tradition of having lots of their pre-painted minis available in an unpainted variety about 6 to 9 months after they're released. So if you're one of those people who can do a better paint job than the factory, you're going to be able to do that if you just have a little bit of patience. And in case you're wondering, from here on out, Icons of the Realms line will focus solely on creatures with stat blocks in 5e, and the Pathfinder Battles line will focus on 2nd edition creatures only. So, we've covered terrain and upcoming minis, but WizKids has some other news too. They're also getting into the 2D mini business. They have a set of 2D minis printed in full color on clear acrylic with swappable bases planned for an October release. Now, this sounds a lot like the skinny minis from the folks who brought you Dungeon in a Box, and they look a little bit like these guys. But like the Paizo minis, like the Paizo Pawns, these 2D minis can give you access to beautiful figures that you can use on your table, and they're at a much more affordable price point. Patrick mentioned getting 15 2D minis for about $15. And these will also be D&D branded, so they'll be able to have access to the full D&D 5e set of creatures. They're also planning a series of D&D branded papercraft houses. So we'll say goodbye to the skinny minis for now. We are going to have a review of the skinny minis and the Dungeon in the Box sometime in the future, so stay tuned for that. October will also see the release of the Hand and Eye of Vecna in a glass jar ready for your Halloween display. It should be about 14 inches tall with a very lifelike hand squeezing the eye. I don't know if it's motion or not. But if Joe Manganiello comes trick-or-treating at your house, you may want to keep him away from this particular decoration, if you know what I mean. And in November, you'll get a 3-foot-tall foam Pathfinder Goblin. I feel safe in saying that you'll probably be seeing this little goblin standing around in some of our videos going forward. Finally, if you want to be part of the online committee that gives WizKids feedback on their products, you can join at wizkids.com/panel. And they also have their own online store now at shop.wizkids.com if you want to buy directly from them. You can check out the full recording of the interview at the link in the description below. Many thanks to the folks at minisgallery.com for putting it all together. It's more than an hour long and includes conversations about how they choose which minis go in which set, how they design minis that don't have pre-existing art, how they determine which minis will be which level of rarity, and how they're hoping to fix some of their distribution problems in Europe. Also, the idea of where the animated door mini came from in the Dragon Heist set. Plus, much, much more. It's worth a listen if you have the time, but hopefully we've covered all the major revelations here. And it's a lot, I know. Now I'll give a few final caveats. All of this was my understanding from listening to the audio recording of the interview, and that kind of bounced around from topic to topic a lot. So it's possible that I got something wrong. I know Patrick sometimes hangs out in the comment sections of our videos, so hopefully he'll chime in down there if I said something wrong. Check out the video description for any corrections. Also, due to the current nature and condition of the world, don't be shocked if some of these dates do get moved around a little bit, although it sounds like things are going relatively smoothly for the folks at WizKids at the moment. Honestly, it sounds like we're getting more WizKids minis and products this year than in the past 3 years combined. Subscribe to our channel to see full reviews as we get our hands on the various products. We'll aim to stay on top of it as best we can. If you have any questions for WizKids after all this, drop them down below as well. Patrick does take our phone calls, so we may be able to arrange a little follow-up chat sometime in the future if we have some good questions for him. We want to thank our sponsor for this video, The Deck of Many. They have a new Kickstarter launching to develop and release a new set of animated reference cards. The Kickstarter will include high-level animated spell cards if you're looking to complete your collection. They've already produced and released spells from cantrips up to level 5, and this set will include level 6 through level 9 spells. Plus, they're creating a beautiful new deck of proper tarot cards. All these cards are tarot-sized, waterproof, and have 8 frames of lenticular animation on the front and all the spell details you need on the back. To learn more, visit animatedspells.com. And thank you for watching today. If you found the video helpful, kindly leave us a comment and a thumbs up. We dropped a ton of news on you in the last few minutes. Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts. What are you most excited about? What questions do you have? Let's discuss. Until then, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.